Objective 1.5 of the CISSP exam focuses on understanding the requirements for different types of investigation. In cybersecurity, not every investigation is handled the same way. The purpose, authority, evidence requirements, a standard of proof, and possible consequences depend on whether the matter is administrative, criminal, civil, regulatory, or related to industry standards. For the CISSP exam, the main point is that a security professional must understand the type of investigation before collecting evidence, reporting findings, or escalating the issue. An administrative investigation is usually internal to the organization. It often involves employees' misconduct, policy violations, misuse of company systems, or violations of acceptable use policies. For example, if an employee at a manufacturing company downloads sensitive product designs and sends them to a personal email account, the investigation may involve human resources, legal management, and the security team. The purpose is not necessarily to prosecute the employee in court, but to determine whether company policy was violated. The result could be a warning, suspension, termination, or removal of system access. A criminal investigation involves a violation of criminal law. These investigations are usually handled by law enforcement, prosecutors, and sometimes external forensic specialists. For example, if attackers break into a company's network, steal customer records, deploy ransomware, and demand payment, the organization may need to preserve logs, forensic images, malware samples, and communication records. In this type of investigation, evidence handling is extremely strict because the evidence may be used in court. Chain of custody is critical here, and the legal standard is usually beyond a reasonable doubt. A civil investigation usually involves a dispute between private parties. The focus is often liability, financial damages, contract, negligence, or failure to meet obligations. For example, after a data breach, customers may sue a company claiming that the organization failed to protect their personal information. In that case, evidence may include security policies, audit logs, risk assessments, incident response, records, contracts, and emails. The standard of proof is usually lower than in criminal cases, and it's often based on preponderance of the evidence, meaning one side's claim is more likely true than not. A regulatory investigation is conducted by a government agency or regulatory authority. These investigations focus on whether an organization complied with laws or mandatory requirements. For example, a healthcare company may be investigated for failing to protect patient records, or a financial institution may be reviewed after failing to report a cybersecurity incident within the required time frame. Regulators may request breach reports, risk assessments, security policies, training records, audit logs, and evidence of corrective actions. Consequences may include fines, penalties, mandatory audits, or corrective action plans. And another type of investigation is an industry standard investigation, which focuses on whether an organization followed a required framework, certification, or contractual security obligation. Examples include PCI DSS for payment card data, ISO 27001 for information security management, SOC 2 for service organizations, or FedRAMP for cloud services used by the US government. For example, if a company that processes credit card payments suffers a breach, a PCI DSS investigation may determine whether required controls such as encryption, login, access control, and vulnerability management were properly implemented. Across all investigation types, the security professional must preserve evidence integrity, maintain chain of custody, document actions, and escalate appropriately. The CISSP exam expects you to understand that security teams support investigations, but they must not exceed their authority. When legal, regulatory, employment, or criminal consequences are possible, legal, HR, compliance, privacy, or law enforcement may be involved.